Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today it's the Man-Child. Okay, so today for review, we're going to take a look at the new Masters of the Universe Origins Cartoon Collection Whiplash figure. So yeah, it's awesome we finally get Whiplash added to the Cartoon Collection. I've been waiting for this figure for a while. Whiplash is always a fan favorite character figure to me, going all the way back to the vintage Whiplash in the vintage toy line, which is quite different from this one. And of course, I'll bring him in later for comparisons, but Whiplash was the first ever 80s figure I got as a child. The day I walked in the child's roll, took him off the pegs, and that started my collection from there. But yeah, he did a pretty good job with him from what I can see. Colors are interesting. Very bright green, again, different than the vintage Origins Whiplash. Hey, I like that face and the head sculpt rather. It's he's very ogre looking almost. Of course, with the cartoon aesthetics like most of the cartoon figures have, at least with the arms and legs. And he does have a different buck. And it looks like he also gets a new tail as well that's different from the regular Origins Whiplash figure. And here's a quick look at the art in the back of Whiplash's packaging. So we see Whiplash firing that rocket launcher that was seen on the animation episode called The Betrayal of Stratos. We can see He-Man, Stratos, and Hawk in the background. Dropping down to the left-hand side, we can see Whiplash holding that rocket launcher. And he can twist into powerful battle positions and, I guess, snap the tail, or make believe he's snapping the tail. And then moving over to the right, here's a quick look at the cross-sale with all three figures that's included with this newer Cartoon Collection Wave, which I do have in hand. And these are up on Entertainment Earth, by the way, or at least by the time I got these, they were shipping. Okay, before we take a look at Whiplash and his weapon accessory, he comes in a new comic, like all three figures in this wave come with. At least they come with the same one. It's called Final Fright. So we can see Shearer on the front, right? Shadow Weaver, Bow, which is all included in this wave. And then, of course, Whiplash, which... So I like the open mouth sculpted. I wish they gave him an alternative head or sculpted the mouth open. It looks more intimidating than a closed mouth. Anyway, so I'm going to flip through the pages, right? Bring it up close if you want to pause and read the captions and the images. And I'll read it later like I do all my comics. Kind of breeze through it a little bit very quickly. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on. Got the Horde. Let's see, Horde Trooper. We got Mantisaur. Catra. Those Horde tanks in the background. A lot of neat stuff going on here. Like this. Next page. Look at that, the Fright Zone monster. Which the Fright Zone should be shipping pretty soon. The regular Origins one. Can't wait to get it. When I review it, I'll put the regular Origins and the cartoon figures on it. I think it will work for both. One of these. Oh, look at Skeletor. Wow. Look at this battle armor. What is that, like a cartoon battle armor Skeletor, I'm guessing? That's pretty cool. The next page. Wow, a lot of cool art in here. I like all these comics. Swordike with his blast arm. Which I was hoping we get a new cartoon version with, yeah, blast arm, maybe Imp. And, yeah, I was surprised at San Diego Comic-Con. They really didn't reveal... like other Horde members or part of the Great Rebellion or Princess of Power for the cartoon collection. They showed more of the 2000X figures, which look really cool. But I think they said they're going to be part of the cartoon collection, or maybe, and they definitely share the Thundercats parts from what I could see. I'm not really sure yet, but yeah, I hope they reveal more of these figures and keep going with this line because it's awesome. They did show off. I'm sorry, the She-Ra and the Swiftwind set, which comes out, I think, the end of this year, maybe next year. And that's it. Here's a quick look around. Cartoon Whiplash had a package as well as accessories, or how he comes with the tail removed. And I did remove the rocket out of the gun, so that does come out. So, taking a closer look at this head sculpt for the Cartoon Whiplash. You know, looks pretty cool. I guess very close to the cartoon. Obviously, yeah, closed mouth. Once again, I would have rathered an open mouth or articulated jaw. I mean, I don't usually see that with the cartoon collection. But, yeah, I'd like to see a Whiplash in any of the lines with just an open mouth with the roaring teeth, like they show a lot of times in the art. Even the Masterverse one didn't do that. Just kept a closed mouth. Just looks more intimidating for this character. But it is cool that they have the fangs sticking up out of the bottom part of the jaw, sculpted, painted. Very puffy in the face. He almost kind of looks like he's holding his breath or something. I don't know. It reminds me of... He has like the double chins. See the pointy ears. And yeah, again, it looks like a big ogre. So it reminds me of this particular design. Did a good job on the eyes. You got the reptile eyes, the pupils. Seem like they're painted okay. You know, I don't see any imperfections. There's nothing over the top. Big eyebrows painted black. They're actually raised out or sculpted out. And you can see he has a couple bumps on the lower part of the chin, both sides, the fin on the head. Here's a look from the other side. Here's a look from the very back. As far as the articulation with his head, you can look all the way to the left, the right, go all the way down and up. About it with the head sculpt on this Whiplash. Okay, moving down, taking a look at the buck and arms. So yeah, it's a whole new style buck just for Whiplash. You know, you can see the overall sculpting. He had a large chest coming out, abs. And then you have like the lines going around both sides of the main buck itself. And if you spin it around, they go all the way around to the back. And then you notice here's the higher section of tail with the plug. Now this is a rubber piece that is sort of, it's attached to the front part of the buck, it looks like, with a seam. But it's a different piece because this is rubber and the buck's a hard plastic. You can see the neck that goes up right under the chin or the head. And the neck is all part of the buck, so it looks like, as far as the colors, the main buck is this dark color, and the neck is painted inside of it, because I can see a little bit of slop around certain areas. You can spin at the waist, of course, come apart at the waist, like all the figures. Moving over to the arms, so they're He-Man cartoon-style arms, nothing different. As far as articulation, go up, down, all right, forward, back, bend at the elbow, straighten it out, spin. Go all the way to the face and chest. So it's pretty good articulation, the way it moves around for this Whiplash figure. He has the wrist bracer gauntlets. It's all part of the sculpt. Just again like He-Man. Painted blue on the forearms. Both sides are exactly the same. And then he has two weapon gripping hands that can spin. And the hinge joints can... Oh, wait a minute. This one goes up and down. Okay, see that? And I'm assuming this one goes in and out. All right. And then, of course, the arms can remove. Let me see. Nothing new. All origin style pegs for customs, and the hands too can come out. They're regular origin style pegs. And then moving over to the other arm, as I already said, all the same, but let's test it out. Up, down. That one always popped out. See the gap? Forward, back, bend at the elbow. Straighten out, spin. Same wrist bracer. Again, sculpted, painted blue. And I already said that the hand can go in and out with the hinge joint, spin all around. And it's a weapon gripping hand. Fingers are really soft in this figure. And I like the fingers on this gripping hand on the right side. They're real, you know, they go in far, so that's good for holding weapons, to where a lot of Origins, they always have stubby, short fingers, especially the regular Origins. And I always say they have bad fingers and hands in a lot of my videos because they just drop weapons easy, depending on the figure. So that's pretty cool for Whiplash. I like that. It's going to hold weapons well. What else? So, all right, that's the hands, the gauntlets, that, and the tail. All right, so let's go back to the tail for a second. I'm going to make this very easy. Let's bring it in to frame here, and that's the tail for Whiplash. It's going to snap on. A whole different design from the regular Origins Whiplash, of course. Very flat, but a solid piece. That's pretty cool. Obviously, here's the plug, and they sculpted it to where it's already like twisted in a snapping position. Kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, you can bend it out and follow the, the fins going all the way down, but it looks weird down here. Then you can see the bottom has a whole different design plate, the way the plates or scales are. So, interesting. Big solid piece of rubber. Yeah, and it doesn't have a bendy wire. Again, it's all pre-sculpted. And that's pretty much your tail. And then taking a look at Whiplash once again. I'm just going to plug it right in like so. And there you go. That's a look at the tail plugged in. And there's no articulation, obviously. It doesn't spin. And that's it. This piece can just snap around. But again, because of the way it's sculpted, you're not going to do much with it. So dropping back down to the waist. Right, obviously we said we can spin at the waist. You can see his belt. Yeah, just painted green to match the upper part of the buck. Has this like more of a solid style loin protector. It's not fuzzy. Painted blue to match the wrist bracers. And I want to say the whole piece is blue and the belt is painted green. And I bring that up because that's going to be the part that can chip. You got to be careful with figures. What I say. Same thing with the bracers. The arm's green, and if anything's chipped, it's going to be those. And then taking a look at the legs, they're just regular He-Man cartoon style legs. Right, as far as articulation, let's test them out. Go out with a split. Oh, and then the whole voice just broke in half. Just look at that. Oh yeah, see, it's blue inside. Let's try that again. All right. So once again, going back to the legs. Let's try that. Kick, forward, go back, bend at the knee, spin at the knee. And then you have this Skeletor style boot. So you can spin at the boot. You can remove the boots. Has the creature toes, again, like just basically skeletal foot. As far as the articulation, go up, down, right, spin, rock, roll around, side to side. And let's test the other leg out and hold the waist together. Kick forward, go back, bend at the knee, spin at the boot. Boot can come off. And the foot, again, it's all the same. Can go up and down and rock side to side. Yeah, this figure has good articulation, but mine's very loose at the waist. You see how easy it popped apart. Moving forward, taking a look at Whiplash's weapons and accessories. In this case, it just has one weapon. It's that rocket launcher, right, that was seen in that Filmation episode. Pretty cool piece. I like things like this. It's unique, and it could just be a blaster too if you don't want to put the rocket in it. So obviously I already removed it. Here's the rocket itself. Right, nothing special. And it plugs right in like so. And there's a quick look at that. All right, now the other thing, I'm going to remove this rocket one more time. I was wondering if the Origins Cobra Khan blast effect, because of that type of peg, would fit in this. See that? It's just a little too loose. So if you want to use this as some type of acid blaster or something as far as the effects we have. And I tried a couple other ones that came from like the Mouse Jaw from the Turtles of Grayskull. That was too small. And that was a little too large, excuse me, I think. And this one's just a little too small. You can always put some sticky tack, a piece of tape, you want to use that. But if you're curious to adapt another blast effect, again from Cobra Khan, this would look like in this blaster. Okay, once again, taking a look at Whiplash. Of course, we have the tail on, and I have the rocket launcher in hand. So it's a pretty good way to pose it, I guess. He can, looks natural the way he holds it for some type of blaster or rocket launcher. You can rest his back part close to the shoulder. Again, I really like this gripping hand, holds it well, and you can position his hand underneath it, or just hold it with one hand. And here's a quick look at that setup, and now you can get a better look at the tail in the back, how it sits on, and it actually balances him pretty good too, because it is heavy. You know, see, he wants to fall backwards, and if you position him forward, he still wants to fall backwards. So this tail actually helps him stand up, depending on the position. Let me see the legs, but at the same time, it does look off. See that? So it's like it's a lot of. Oh, there we go. So you can still balance him without it, and it would look sort of something like that. Once again, moving on, take a look at a couple comparisons. So, of course, here's a quick comparison between a regular Origins Whiplash figure against our cartoon Whiplash figure. There's a quick look at those two together. Yeah, very different. You know, they both look like a Whiplash character, but very different. Yeah, I always like this Whiplash. Again, it goes back to my childhood nostalgia. Really fun figure, really creepy looking. You always had the nose tooth, they called it, coming out of the nose. It was supposed to be coming out of the jaw, but it's not. But you overlook it now, you know. I always like the armor on this figure. Colors are neat. That tail, and this one does articulate on the Origins. The feet, which are basically buzz-off clawful feet. And then, of course, you know, against our new cartoon Whiplash figure, which just, yeah, fun in his own way. Really different. Very bulky and menacing looking. And, of course, a lot taller than this Origins Whiplash figure by, yeah, half an inch because of the way the leg design on these characters. And the colors. And then the other part interesting, too, is that just how different the tails are between the two. How flat that one is and how this one tapers. And then here's a quick size comparison between the new cartoon Whiplash, of course, his Master Skeletor, and the look against the cartoon He-Man. Just all three of those together for size and what they would look like next to each other. And for one last size comparison, I brought in a regular Origins He-Man and cartoon Teela, just for a cartoon female figure, against the cartoon Whiplash. A quick look at all three of those together for size and scale. Alright, that about does it. That's my review on a new Masters of the Universe Origins Cartoon Collection Whiplash figure. Yeah, he came out pretty cool. He's a fun-looking character to add to the cartoon collection. You know, Whiplash he's always a fan favorite. Whether you go back to the regular Origins one or the couple times you did see him in the cartoon, and I'm glad they finally added him to the line. You know, it's a fun-looking face sculpt with the teeth and the eyes and a big puffy face. But yeah, I kind of wish they would have added a second head with an open mouth. Or maybe, you know, another one to articulate a jaw. I mean, I didn't expect that with Origins, but I think I would have liked to see that with Whiplash finally. I like the new buck or armor they gave him. Or yeah, just a new style buck for just particularly him. And of course, you have the tail piece coming off. Yeah, the tail's interesting. I like that big, heavy, flat design. But I think it would have been better with at least this part going all the way to the end of the tail, a bendy wire. You could, you know, do a lot more with it. It's sort of pre-posed. Can't really do any wild action effects, you know, if you wanted to bend it to one side, and if it had a bendy wire, you could be able to bend it all around the shoulder, whatnot. It's just, this is how it sits. It does help him balance, but sometimes it also makes him fall forward or backwards, just depending on how it's sitting. You know, it's, I had to mess around with mine a little bit. It's a little better now. But, you know, looks cool for what it is, the overall design. Colors are neat on this figure, very bright green. You know, they stand out. And that rocket launcher, it's a unique looking weapon. I like when we get accessories or weapons and blasters in the Origins or the cartoon collection. I wish they would give us more of those type of accessories, and he does come with one. And that's about it. Not really much else to say or do with this figure. It's just very basic. And I really hope this cartoon line keeps going, because I heard rumors that they might back off it a little bit and focus more on 2000X this year or next year. I don't know how true that is. But yet, I thought they did say they are going to continue the cartoon series figures. So, yeah, I'd like so many more figures to do. And again, when I see figures like Whiplash or Shadow Weaver and Ball like I just got, I just want the line to keep going. There's just so much to do. Well, hopefully that's not true. But anyway, we got Whiplash added to the line, and for what it is, it came out pretty cool. Scratch another evil villain off the list with the cartoon series. So as always, I appreciate everybody watching. Until next time, take care.